the actual commodity fees for our largest customers is a pass-through on the gas fees, and then we charge and have a margin on the capacity. And that's typical across the industry, nationwide. So what we would be preparing is similar stuff.
Well, question through the thing, you mentioned depending on the budget. And I guess my question to you is, what do you need for budgeting to know to move forward with your recommendations?
The biggest thing is a pretty firm commitment on numbers and where they're staying the same and what we need to include. For example, if it's the desire of council and our management to fund a replenishment, to try to replenish the balance in the budget utilities, we need to account for that in the rates. If it's a desire to keep the admin service charge where it's at, then we need to know what that number is, and we need to keep to it. And once we set rates on it, once we come up with something to propose to you, if that number changes at the 11th hour, we have to recognize that we have to make sure that the rates are adjusted to meet that. If we decide, electric, let's just throw numbers out. Electric's a $90 million operation, and then we have to have rates to recover $90 million. And then in June, that goes to 93 million because we're changing some stuff around from the budget side, not on the operation side, but from the city perspective. Then our rates don't recover 93 million. You see, so we want to make sure that we're recovering what we need and what the city needs in the rates. And so that's the only thing that we're waiting on, really, is that just a little bit of clarity in direction of where those numbers need to be so we can bake them in, provide a cost of service based to that. Kyle, you want to speak to that? I mean, that's the process.
Sure, that's the process. I would say there are four main parts to the electric utility budget. One is,
If you come to the microphone,
Yeah,
because we got people tuning in. Sorry about that.
no, thank you. I would say there are four main parts to the electric utility budget. One is wholesale power costs. We have a pretty good handle from the GIMPA, what those costs can be expected. We have a good budget on that. We have the O&M for the electric utility itself. We have a pretty good handle on that budget year over year. The utility knows what it needs to operate itself. And then we're going to look at fund transfers, right? The administrative service charge, and then capital expenses. So capital expenses, the utility can budget for and plan, but there is an approval process for that's okay to spend in the upcoming year. The interfund transfers, the admin service charge, that piece that goes to the city, that's what we need clarity on so that we know where to set the rates to recover that much money. Is that fair?
Well, you want to say, well, I was just going to answer your question earlier because I went to school of government, and this is based on 2015, but all that general statute has changed, but transfer from electric fund to certain electric cities may not exceed the rate of 3% of the gross capital assets of the electrical system or 5% of the gross annual revenues of the preceding fiscal year.
So, before you consider raising rates any further, what cost reductions inside of the utility system should we consider?
So, we've obviously looked at it. If you take a hard look at the electric capital, we've looked over the last 5 years of what we spend. And these capital projects in electric they're expensive, they're multi-year projects, and they take time, they take a lot of money to do. So we can push those, but when we push those, we're taking on risk. We're taking on risk of how long that needs to be. I mean, we're not replacing substations just to replace them. We're replacing them because they're coming up to end of life. We're not replacing generators just to replace them. They're coming up to an end of life. And so to have that planned out, multiple years, electric has a long range plan. We kind of know what those expenses are going to be. Those things can be pushed, but only for a short period of time. we've pushed a lot of capital this year due to the situation we're in. Tree trimming is an example of capital expenditures that are typically ones that gets pushed. But the reason we didn't have more power outages in these two events, the ice event in January and the snow event, is because in the last 10 years, we've been doing a great job of tree trimming. Keeps those limbs away from our lines. So those things, there's things that you can push, but you're gonna pay for them at some point. You're going to pay for them in reduced service. You're going to pay for them in a higher price later. So I think the key is specifically on electric to manage that out a little more even. And so that's one thing that we've got internally that we're looking at. On the gas side, honestly, we're running a gas on $4 million. We can't get anything.
And the other thing that I'd like to add, that's good in theory, and we're doing our best to, like you said, Brandon, kind of delay what we can from the capital expenditure standpoint. But the reality is, in years past, we've had a fund balance to address the capital expenses. What we've explained to the council and to the public over these last few months is that we no longer have a fund balance. So the fact that we don't have a fund balance means you have to adjust the rates. Now, what that adjustment is, that's something that we can let you decide based on the information from the consultant and others, but we don't have a fund balance across the board in any account. The cash that we are presenting to the council over the last several months now, even the last couple of days, shows that is our remaining cash across all accounts in electric, gas, water, sewer, and the general fund.
And I would say that you, Rob, the question you asked me, which is a good question, but if you go to the Kemper meeting.
Can you tell me what the admin call?
Well, I'm just trying to share something with you from the experience that I've been through and meeting others. If you ever go to the Kemper meeting, you have a great experience. And those same questions you asked them, I asked those questions in the room about the board. Tables all around the room, about 80 people, 60-some people sitting at the table. You ask those questions, it was really like you asked them talking a different language, but your advocacy needs to be at those meetings as well, because that's where it's going to start. And we try to make sure that our infrastructure, not only with electric, gas, but water and sewer, that those systems run efficiently, that make sure that it was operational, smoothly. So, but I was just saying, really see the bigger picture of it is in Wilson, when those Kemper meetings are being held. And then from there, they even have the electricity board meeting. And that's the very top where all the cities are being held. So I was just sharing this be another level of where all these discussions are being taking place. And decisions are being made, which are passed down to the local municipalities within that, and they come from the very city.
Appreciate that. City manager, how can we find out what exactly are these admin service charges and what are they made up? Their cost allocation, because we need to be very clear. I don't want you to sacrifice or jeopardize anything with your infrastructure, your system. But a big portion of this admin service cost, the cost allocation, these transfers, I would love to know what they are and get an itemized breakdown on where that money is going.
As stated before, we can show you the formula that is used and how it's going to the general fund. And if we can break it down to an itemized formula, we will do our best to do that as well. And that will take place during the budget process.
I have a question about your planning process. We have no fund balance, so I'm assuming that your maintenance costs is truly allocated to whatever those priorities are that will take place. At the same time, we grow our way out of challenges, right? So we still have to be prepared to lay new lines wherever there's new business opportunity, whether serving a residential community or serving commercial or industrial customer, possible customer. In the meantime, until we get surplus buildings, how do we prepare for building opportunities for growth throughout our entire community? One of my pet peeves has been that you keep building infrastructure where there's already business, and that makes sense. I understand that. But if we want business to reach other places, we got to prepare those places for growth. And in the planning of our future, we have corridors of opportunity that we're looking at how to expand our infrastructure and what those potential costs would be. And that also gives us something, to set our sights on for why we need to save.
Sure, absolutely. So I think the key difference in the electric and the gas utility is electric is the territory set. There's very little expansion that can be done. You're only dealing with a few customer choice areas. So the territory in electric is set. Moving to a new customer in that territory is typically not terribly expensive, but there's a return on investment, there's a process, and what we should be doing is making sure that there's a commitment up front that we can realize the revenue from that before we enter into something, before we're moving that out. Gas is a little different. There's nothing that boxes us in on gas. We can go wherever there's a business case. But there has to be a business case, and we have to have a return on investment. And so, in that sense, when it comes to budget and how we do things through the operating through the year, obviously with very little fund balance, we're not going to jump in and with the build it and they'll come mentality until we can get that back up to where it needs to be. Now, that being said, if we know there's a commitment, we know there's a utility, or there's an industry, or there's a company that's coming, there's a development that's coming, we're committed to making sure that we're going to expand to those areas. Typically on the gas side, what I've always done is wait for our capital projects to be implemented after the winter. We do a lot of our work in March through June. What that allows us to do is get through the winter to see if it's gotten crazy on us from a money perspective. But what it also allows us to do is if there's something that we have to push, I can push it 2 or 3 months into next fiscal year and save that money this year. Electric's a little bit different, like I said, but probably our mentality, I mean, we talked about this internally, we're not going to use these funds going into fiscal year 27 for expansion unless we have firm commitments that there's development that's going to be there. In some cases, there's some upfront payment of that. What we try to do with our developers, specifically of subdivisions, is make sure we sign memorandums of understanding. They're going to commit to putting X amount of facilities in, so we can kind of do our cost allocation and realize return on investment. So we're going to have to kind of feather the gas a little bit in these next year or 2 fiscal years until those fund balances are built back up.
The only thing that I'll add to that statement is that when it comes to those construction projects, that is a scenario where we may have some help on the outside sources. Because if there's a huge economic development project, we may be able to reach our partners at a state or federal level, we may be able to provide grant funding. I don't want to count on that, but it's a higher percentage chance for us to do that when it comes to those type of infrastructure projects.
And I do want to say too, El, you were absolutely correct in that, in the past, we had the comfort of having that fund balance so that if we wanted to take on a capital project that our rates weren't set to recover, we could probably consider it, especially considering most of the electric capital projects on multi-year projects. Having no fund balance is basically any capital projects we're doing in the next year or 2 fiscal years are paid for by cash. We're not getting any financing for it. We're not going to the bank and asking for money to help us get this going. We have to fund it. So, it's imperative that we build that fund balance value set, and those rates need to be set to pay for those things in the rates. We can't rely on having a rainy day fund to go fix that breaker at the substation. Like, we need to, we need to make sure that we're allocating money that is not, earmarked for something else directly to building that back up. So it's pay as you go right now. I mean, we're in pay as you go mode on capital projects.
Brandon, how many substations does the city?
12 substations?
12 substations. Cost money, each and every one of them up.
Substation rebuilds, $8 million roughly. We've got 2 point of deliveries. They're bigger. That's obviously where we take the power from Duke. We've rebuilt 6 substations in the last 10 to 12 years. But, it's worth, we've got 6 more to rebuild over the next probably 10 to 20 years. And $6 to $8 million piece. That's only going to go up. Lead times on those materials, those transformers, those breakers are, like I said earlier, 12, sometimes up to 30 months. So a lot of the planning that we do on capital is really money spent in the future. We're planning for a project, we need to have capital funds available. But the good thing is we have a little bit of time before a lot of those things come to fruition and for payment to get those things kind of planned in. If we have in our rates a plan to capture some fund balance back.
Thank you. I think you said in the rates. So if you had it and you wasn't given as much in transfers, then would that balance it out instead of looking at the rates? My question too is the enterprise fund. They lost money. They're losing money, correct?
The question is, it depends on how you ask the question. Okay. And the reason I say that is because our revenues cover our wholesale cost of energy, our operations costs. But when you add in cost allocation, sometimes it puts us negative.
Okay.
Now, that's not all it can be. A lot of it, and I wish Cheryl was here because I had a lot of questions for her when I took this position about the capital piece of it. Because electric has a lot of multi-year capital projects, a lot of those don't come out and get paid until that portion of that project is completed. So sometimes what we've been utilizing in years past is we have earmarked capital funds, but that didn't get spent that year, so we carry it forward. All right, so what that does is that artificially increases the expenditures that year. And then if whatever gets done that year, if not all of it gets done, that gets carried forward again. There's another method that we're looking at trying to implement and working with finance to make sure that we come to y'all with a project ordinance that basically says this is the project, this is what we want, this is what we want to fund, it's set aside, and so that we're not affecting the budget with carry forwards every year. Because if you go back and look at some of our past fiscal years, you'll see in electric, it looks like we overspent on capital. Mm-hmm. And in that year, capital did exceed what it was supposed to. But a lot of that money was carried forward money from previous years. That makes sense? We carry because they're just long projects. If we put in a PO for breakers today in March, we might get them next May, which means we have to put it in there, do a purchase order, expense it out. But we actually will not pay the vendor until next year. So that money has to be carried forward in the method that we've been doing in the city.
And if you recall from the audit presentation that was done yesterday, that was one of the findings that took place, is that certain projects were not placed in the proper fiscal year. And so since I've been manager, we are changing some of those previous practices that have been done for the last few years and trying to do them what we feel is the more appropriate way, according to guidance from general accounting principles. So the things that we have implemented for the last 10 months will address it, but it's not an overnight fix. So what we have to concentrate now on, number one, is our rates, because as an enterprise fund, they're supposed to operate like a standalone business. That's how we have them set up as separate funds. So they're supposed to not necessarily make a profit in the sense of a business where the money that they make over the balance sheet goes to shareholders, but it goes for that fund balance so we can have an opportunity to buy capital things and plan for capital projects. But the point that we're at now, we don't have the opportunity to make a whole lot of more cuts to his operation. As you said, he's running the whole, department on a $4 million budget in the gas department. We have to adjust the rates to account for these things. And you can't just account for one, you have to look for multiple years. And the things that other council members have pointed out about the wholesale rates that we're paying, we have to account for those because we have already been notified that they are increasing. So I think it's not a situation where we do one or the other. It's a situation where we do both things.
Okay, gotcha. I'm not asking you to, compromise anything from your point of view. We're talking about what you're transferring to the general fund and looking at that. You have Greenville up there, you said run as an independent. Greenville Utilities, to my knowledge, they run independently. And our enterprise fund has been showing a loss. Do you know how long the enterprise fund been, losing, how many years? Is this the first year?
All that information is included in the audit for the last, several years. That was presented yesterday.
Can you tell me how many years have we been the enterprise fund?
I don't have the audit in front of me, but you have a copy of it and all the information is included in the audit.
So if you was, like Greenville Utilities and you was running on your own, do you think that you will be losing money?
It's all based on what your rates. So the key here is, you know what your expenses are, and you set rates accordingly. So, you know, that's really the piece that we're trying to zone in on. And as long as our rates are set to recover our expenses, we're making money, regardless of what those expenses are or rates are. Now, you know, to answer the question, the last 3 fiscal years, electric's run deficit, with this most recent audit being the biggest deficit. A lot of that was capital expenditures, but it was capital expenditures because they were multi-year projects. Gas has been off and on, and kind of swayed back and forth. The years that we have the PGA in high enough, it covers years we don't. Yes. And so now, just to clarify, Green Utilities is an entirely different setup than us and Wilson.
We don't want it, we don't want a different setup.
No, I'm not saying we want to do it, but my understanding, this is what I don't want to do. You're telling me it's the last choice is to raise rates on our customers, is that your recommendation? Is there any other expenses or things that can be cut before we raise rates? Let me just tell you,
They are raising the rates.
in Southeast Rocky Mount, 27% of people live below poverty. You have 65% older homes. That was 1970. We know that those are going to be the most stressed because they don't have insulation and things in their home. So when you raise rates, that should be our last option of raising rates on utilities, especially what we're currently going through. That's South Rocky Mount. South Rocky Mount, 25% live below poverty. I think it's my turn to go. 25% is below poverty. So as this council sit here, I want to explore all opportunities before we talk about raising the utility rates on a vulnerable population of seniors. A lot of those seniors live in older homes and cannot afford the current utility bill. So I just want to be very clear on where I stand and why I'm asking these questions.
I understand that. That's why.
Right, but I want to say something, because that's the last thing, I'm gonna get you straight right here. I try to move with it before, but it's the last thing that this council ever wanted to do is raise some daggone utility rates. Now, you might just move here from daggone Long Island, New York, but we've been fighting here a long darn time to get the rates the way they are. So you better do your daggone history. And another daggone thing, I was born in South Rocky Mountain, in a cinder block house with a wood heater. And when you look at wards 1, 2, 3, and 4, where this investment was not put in those communities, now we see investment which you have benefited from a house, Atlantic Avenue, for installation, home improvement. You got $375,000 because you wanted to improve housing where these vulnerable people live based upon the grants that we created that they could get the money to do these things. But you ain't gonna grandstand today and say we want to raise utility rates on vulnerable people. So that's a lie. We only raise rates when we have to, and it comes from the Kemper. If you go to Wilson and go to the electric cities, you go fight with them people. When I went there, was one person that looked like me, that was the mayor of Scotland Neck. And we fought like the Dickens. And it was Rocky Mount and Reuben that stood up against Duke. And people said we were stupid. But we felt the burden of the people. So I ain't going out like that. I'm about raising some rates. This is the last thing we ever wanted to do.
But, you know, I think the other thing is, I hear you, nobody around here wants to do that. And I think that's what it is. Well, let me respond. Well, my mic was on first. Well, I've been, okay, the air in the room is everybody's air. Yeah, you understand? And I think we're trying to work together. If you want to work together, then you gotta listen, all of us do. And we gotta hear, all of us do. And all I can say is that, look at those systems. When we talk about separating utilities, which has come to us before as a separate managed entity, you lose all control of how rates are set and the philosophies of how to build revenue. It's no longer citizen driven. In Greenville, nobody votes for utility commissioners. City council does not appoint. Am I correct?
To my understanding, and I'm not fully in tune with their setup, but they have a board, and part of that board is made up of elected officials from the city of Greenville. And maybe, and part of it, but not a majority part of it.
Part of that board.
That's right, just a few members.
I just want you to understand what you're saying. That's all. Understand the playing field. And look at the numbers. Just look at the pure numbers. Look at the pure numbers of who has the lowest rates. And what I see consistently, regardless of how we're all feeling, because our bills are bundled, and we've had this conversation before too. Maybe we need to unbundle the bills to spend more money on mailing. So people can say, my utility bill is not, you don't have a utility bill, you got a gas bill, you got an electric bill. And you bundle the sewer, water, storm water, and everything else stands on its own. And then that way you're comparing apples to apples, because these conversations that all of us are engaged in all the time is not legitimate. It's not, because they're looking at one bill with all kinds of stuff. That's not the citizens' fault. Yeah, that's a management thing that we can do something. We can do something about that, because now when I'm from Person County, and in Person County, we generate the electricity that Rocky Mount buys. But in Person County, my power bill just says Duke, and it's a number. And it might be $90 or $110. But in Rocky Mount, I'm paying $1,200 a month. That's my reality every month. But it's not one bill. It's just like you stated. And it's hard to do that with our customers because that's all they see. But that's what we put out. And I think we can do something about that part. If you want people to understand, so they understand clearly, it's not your whole retail, it's the gas bill is highly small. The electric bill is highly small. But my storm water, my trash, what do you call that, waste? I'm just saying those are the kind of conversations to me.
I just want to make a recommendation. We had state representative, Mr. Eastana, who was going to make a couple of comments, but she has a hard stop before, so we just take a 10-minute break and then let her come in.
Before you take that break, I'd like to respond and clear the record because some false stuff was said and some fake numbers were said. We gotta be respectful of the time. That's very, both of them important, but we gotta be very respectful of time. Because you one told her to stay around and get a comment. So, if we don't be respectful, yeah. We're gonna take 10 minutes break on back at 3:45. And then she has a heart. What's that? From, yes, from. Who's talking to me? You hear what I say? Is that a threat? Hey, you want to be outside the threat? Hey, no, you came up to me. It's gonna come. So don't go there with me. I didn't come over to you. I said, I'll be outside. I'll be outside when I go home. I ain't working on it. It's just, yo. Not much. Okay. It makes a great impact. It'd be no good. What a show your boy put on. You got that, okay? That's an answer to your question. It's true. Like I said, you look today. And bring one check recovery, boy. Yeah. And the rates are based on. We wouldn't. That's what I yeah. It just depends on how much time you got. Performance. The performance got is $80 million in the hole that affect mostly black people. And this guy's in front of top of his job. He need to deal with where he lives at and don't make sure he don't. I'm a grown ass man. You don't tell me why, you know. I said you need to deal with what anybody that owns this house. I've been coming to you since the night. You can tell me anything about what I can go. I'm a grown ass man. No, it's not.
Wow. I wanted you to, this is the DCN smoke. I wanted you to hear how it got to the conversation with Councilman Charles Roberson and myself. Um, so I want to play leading up to that conversation. See, because this ain't all about me. I'm just showing you a pattern of how ignorant he is. This has been going on for 2 days. Well, it's been going on since he's been on the council. He act like he's some type of savior or something, but he's not bringing anything to the table. And then he's not listening. The stupid conversations. The meeting could have been over earlier yesterday. Yesterday, Monday and Tuesday. But because of some of the ignorant conversation that goes on, Reuben alluded to it. Some of the conversations don't need to be had. And then when that, when he, it's just sad. Look at how he be doing, clapping, and I don't get it. Especially when folk are addressing him, and then he continue to asking crazy mess. He act like he can't comprehend. Um, it's embarrassing to me, and folk in the room, it was embarrassing to them. I talked to several people. um, um, I made it my best to talk to several people because I want to see how they stood. It's sad. It is embarrassing. Okay, I'm gonna go back and let you hear the conversation with when it got to he and I again. So just listen. I could start it with that, but it ain't about me and him. It's about his ignorant conversation that need to be had offline. And then after him, the LGC lady will be coming back. She won't even dare to even to to be on the schedule today. He asked her to stay and make some comments. While we was out in the lobby, he made some crazy comments. Um, he I was standing there talking to somebody. He came by and said something. Then he said that I need to take care of pine tops because I live in a flood zone. He know where I live. I said, oh no, my property now where my dad lived, yes, it was in the flood zone. But where I live since the early 2000s or 2001, where I actually reside, is not in the flood zone. So what the hell are you talking about? And plus, what have that got to do with anything? It's a whole lot of houses, property, all over Edgecombe County, Nash County, the state that's in flood zones, Princeville. So what is his point? He got all the answers. Like Andre say, he come here from Long Island, New York, and act like he done figured something out. One thing he figured out is how to get some damn money. Andre told him that. What, 375,000? Okay. This Negro got issues. And he is a hindrance to moving forward. And he said out there in the lobby that um uh somebody and I was standing there talking, and he said, we got options. We got options. We ain't gotta do that. You gonna hear it when we come back in there. So I was like, well, what is he talking about? And so then I realized he was gonna say he was talking about the lady from LGC, but she reiterated that what she's hearing, folk need to move forward. Going backwards is not a solution right now. So what part this Negro don't understand? He's using Ward 3 folk for ignorant talking points. And if I lived in Ward 3, every time he opened his mouth, I'll be telling him to shut the hell up because he's embarrassing. They done told him it's no fund balance. Rate increases will happen. Andre explained to him that that does not come from them. It comes from Nakippa and electric cities. Andre and I used to go with Andre to the meetings. I know what he's talking about. I know the mayor of that was the mayor of Scotland, James Mills. So hey, I've been there, done that. And for all you Negroes out there and ignorant 47, 34 levels, um, don't come for me. Don't come for me, cause I got receipts. I've been on the job. I've been doing this since the '90s. Attend these meetings long before any of the council members, and doing it out of pocket. They get paid. I don't get paid. I do this because I am a voice for the people, even the enemies. Because I recognized and understood a long time ago that everybody benefit, just like he did before he got on the council. You can't pick and choose who benefits from some things. So I'm gonna go back to let you hear the conversation with he and I again, and then let you hear what LGC lady came back and repeated, and then I'm gonna shut it down because I am gonna come back and discuss the audit, the state audit, because that's what I've been waiting on. And it said just what I thought it would say, but I tell you, I am. This thing is more serious than I thought it was. I know Rocky Mountain was in a tough situation, but after attending the retreat on Monday And yesterday, somebody said another 6 months. Former city manager Keith Rogers would have bankrupt the city. Now, I ain't got no degree in nothing but common sense. And I think that another 3 months, LGC probably would have done come in and taken over. Somebody said that the other day. And see, that was him and some more folk. The rumors in the street. And then when the lady for LGC talked about, she had talked to people in the room talking about them taking over, and that was not what she wanted, and it was not needed because they had qualified people in place. You don't put LGC don't take over when you got qualified people in place. But that's the kind of mess that he and some others are doing in the community. Folk in Ward 3, Charles Roberson is no damn good to y'all. Y'all need to shut him down and tell him to just listen. Listen. He just got on the council. No, he ain't responsible for where they are now. But he should be a part of the team. It done been scratched many times. They got to work together. And then he doing all this mess with LGC in the room. Just ignorant.
I'm just saying, those are the kind of conversations to me.
I just want to make a recommendation. We have a state representative, Mr. Nicena, who was going to make a couple of comments, but she has a hard stop at 4, so you just take a 10-minute break and then let her come in.
Before you take that break, I'd like to respond and clear it because some false stuff was said and some things that trust was said.
We got to be respectful of the time. Both of them important, but we got to be very respectful of time. Because either one told her to stay around and get a comment. So, and we're going to be respectful. We're going to take 10 minutes break on that at 3:45. And then she has her heart. What's that? Yes, Ron.
Who's up to me?
Give me what I say.
I'll be outside. Is that a threat? Hey, you want to see my things that quick? Hey, you want to walk up? No, you can't look at me. It's going to come. So I'm going to help me. I ain't come over to you. I said, I'll be outside. I'm going outside when I go home. I ain't working on it. It's just,
Yeah.
Not much.
Okay.
It makes a great impact. It'd be no different than.
What a show your boy put on, you got that up there.
That's an answer to your question. It's true, like I said, you and where you want to check the recovery, boy.
Yeah, and the rates are based on. We wouldn't.
Yeah. It just depends on how much time you got.
Okay, so that's. You're not typically. To the surface.
I need a number.
The performance got us $80 million in the hole that affect mostly black people. And this guy's in front of top money. We need to deal with where he lives at and don't make sure he don't.
I'm a grown ass man. You don't tell me why, you know. I've been saying
you need to deal with what
anybody that owns this house. I've been coming to you since the night. You can sit here and think about what I can go. I'm a grown ass man.
Well, I mean, I've been, no, I think.
Yes, sir. Well, you got time. Yeah, so I was down the county. Yeah. I mean, they're not covered the cost, so, you know.
Hey, we got about 30 seconds before we ask you a question about the work.
Let's just do it after the meeting, that's all right, though. I'm good, I gotta get another cookie. That's
Did you receive the great healthy food commercial that the cooking restaurant time talking? You expect them to have the milk. It's kind of high as a flooding load.
I have not.
He was like, he was trying to eat vegetables and everything.
So I'm working the program. There we go, good. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir, thank you.
I didn't see him out there.
Yes, sir.
I sent you an email and text.
So sorry, come on in. Come on in. Yeah, good to see you again.
And it's interesting to just say, I didn't know. It says on the city sign off from this, when. We start looking at history. Well, we could talk about this project as we say something. So these are not, these guys. Hey, Charles.
Ready? 3:45. Ready? Yeah, we got it. Do this. Ready? All right. Everybody else?
He spends time overseas. It should take part of his time. If your finance department helps pay bills for the water funds. I mean, that's the part I don't know. That's the part you need to get into.
The expenditures are too high.
Hey, live. We ready?
Yes. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for allowing this time, Mr. Luciana, give us a few words prior to her leaving. She has to go back to Raleigh. But I just want to personally thank you for coming to our retreat for 2 days. Hopefully you got your money's worth.
You can stamp my card, my frequent flyer card.
Right. But again, I just want to say thank you for myself and the rest of the board for coming to assist during this process.
For sure, the LGC is here to be a resource for you as you go through these kinds of things. I wasn't necessarily planning this morning to make any additional remarks. I hope I got through pretty loud and clear yesterday in terms of the message that I wanted you to take away. And because I don't work for you, I think I can speak a little bit more clearly. I'm going to tell you that one of the things I'm seeing still is a fair amount of looking backwards. It's good for you to know how you got here so that you don't get here again. But the focus has to be forward. The focus has to be what decisions are you making now going forward, rather than you suggested that before, I suggested that last time. So I think there's the need to look back to avoid repeating the mistakes and the need to look forward in terms of what decisions are you making now. I unfortunately had to miss a bit of your conversation this morning when you reviewed the different budget cuts, and I'm not sure where you ended up landing, but I certainly hope that when you leave this retreat today, you will have given your city manager very clear direction on what type of budget adjustment you want him to prepare to bring to you at the March meeting. So I heard you definitely talk through some of the cuts that were proposed, and I heard some yes for this one, no for this one, but I hope that you can coalesce around this is what we want to see. This is the budget adjustment that we want to make at the next meeting. Because it's, time's getting away and you have so much work ahead of you. But I really believe what I told you yesterday. I know that you can do this. I know that, and as my colleague Sharon said yesterday, you can be the board that lets the city fall off a cliff, or you can be the board that pulls it back. And one of you came up with afterwards and said, we're going to be the board that helps us climb all the way over the mountain. And I think that's great. And I know that you can do it. And there's not any reason that the LGC should need to come in and make the hard decisions. I know that you're qualified to make. So I just encourage you to keep asking questions and to try to coalesce around solutions as you head into dealing with your current cash prices and dealing with your budget pressures. One other thing I wanted to mention with the conversation I've had with a few of you individually this morning, just my personal view on how you might consider changes in your salary costs. Understand that there was some discussion that I missed about, do you want to make permanent salary cuts? Do you want to reduce salaries for certain points? Do you want to maybe roll back part of the class and comp study that you implemented? I'm probably don't know, have enough details to comment on your class and comp, but I will say that in general, to echo a bit of a message that my colleague Sharon gave yesterday, changes that are temporary are going to be easier on morale than changes that are permanent. So for example, furloughing staff is going to reduce their pay, but furloughs are temporary. Cutting people's salaries, even with a promise to raise them later, that's probably going to be permanent. And I think that cutting salaries in general has the potential to have a much larger hit to morale of your workforce. And you're really going to need your workforce because you're all in it together to deal with your financial crisis. And you're going to not want to lose some of your best employees. And so I would, this is not a recommendation to do one or the other. That's my observation from other units, that temporary types of measures such as furloughs, which by their nature are more temporary, may get you better buy-in and may help you keep morale up as your staff work very hard to try to improve your financial position. Those are my last few thoughts, that I can tell that there's some time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. In fact, I was gonna ask Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if I might make a motion. I like to, move that we direct our manager to come back with, plan 3 and 4, and we'll do 0. And, provide us with clarity around where those cuts will be, and what the forecast will be, those cuts on. That's their strategy.
I want to second that,
Second along with you.
and the reason why I second it, again, I said this before, I made reference to it. It would be great if we can get close to $29-30 million at the end of 2026, now with reference to 3 and 4.
Second your motion.
May I ask if you want to put a time frame on your motion? You want him to come back and step in?
The next meeting, I think we need to.
I think we need to have something before even March of 2030, or even March of 2030.
I'll amend my motion to, I know, when we get together tomorrow sometime, sure, may call, special call, you don't have to call, meeting if that, so at the discretion of our mayor and pro tem.
Yeah, I second that.
Discussion. Those two, I don't have one question, are those the two that are raises in utility rate, utility rate?
Yes. Yes.
Just while they're looking, just for education, today's, I haven't looked at the calendar, but, so this now, so next week is gonna be when we need it, Mr. Manager, just so we can maybe iron out any of the ads from the news that we may have or the details. You want to set a date now?
I think maybe, because we gotta give Cheryl some time to find out what's going on with Cheryl, so I'm thinking maybe next Wednesday or Thursday. Because I know you said you have an appointment the first of next week.
Council, I apologize, council members, I'm going to need to leave, but it sounds like, keep doing what you're doing.
Safe travels. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair. So, realistically, I can get this, to you, in preparation for a special call meeting, next week. So like, Tuesday, Wednesday would be perfect time for.
And we just set for Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Get the notice on that. Special call meeting to discuss options 3 and 4. Absolutely.
So you want to,
Everybody.
Wednesday would be better for me, because that's the day that I meet with you all anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So. Wednesday would be better.
What time? Discuss.
so if,
After the.
no, so if Councilman Blackwell, you need a Thursday, is that crucial input? Yeah, so.
I think virtual is fine unless you absolutely want to be here. That's a.
Well, what do you want to do?
Council.
Well, this is, person is always better, but, you know.
But paying the personnel.
So you go with Wednesday, or whatever you said you.
But Wednesday is the day that if we ask Elton to make a couple of fine tuning things, then he'll be prepared to give that information to us prior to the council meeting. So,
So that's the thing that I was gonna mention, because, outside of just this particular project, we do have a council meeting agenda that we have to prepare, and I've been out of the office for the last 2 days, so we need to get back and see what's going on, and also check on Cheryl, but I'm confident that I can get you to you by the day, just up to you all which one of me, I think Wednesday work, but if we need to move it Thursday, that's fine too.
When can you be here in person?
Thursday.
Thursday?
I'm traveling.
That's fine. Thursday morning, okay, everyone?
So let me understand, Councilman Blackwell, you're saying that we're gonna need to discuss these two scenarios, right? Okay, so that, I'm fine with that.
It's Thursday morning, good for everybody?
Yeah.
10 o'clock?
it's, that one, what time?
10 o'clock?
Yeah.
10 o'clock?
Make it work. Yeah.
So this, yes, procedurally, this, Councilman Black will need to amend his motion.
Thank you. So I will amend the motion to state that, we're asking the production manager to come back to us on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with an expanded, discussion on the options moving forward. Policy. Correct. So. Yeah, that might fall.
All in favor?
All opposed? Motion passed. So, very good, thank you. Consider second. The last item that we have today, is a conversation with, David Joyner, the general manager of the event center.
All right. I'm going to stop it right there. The event center presentation was awesome as well. Um, this has been about an hour, so I'm going to stop it here. Like I said, I'm going to come back later and go through the audit, the presentations, and all. Again, we saw Charles Roberson on the end. Does he listen? I just don't get it. Ward 3 folk, y'all need to sit him down and talk to him. He gonna dig a ditch for y'all with his input. You need to listen. Let the city manager, his staff do what they supposed to do. Get the recommendation, bring back to them. He got one vote. He can vote with them or he can vote against them. He make it plain and clear that he's against them. In my opinion, based on the facts as I perceive them in the videos. See, because he's showing that he got a problem with Reuben, and and you'll see that in the one presentation about the event center when he singled Reuben out about the event center, that he was one of the ones that was fighting to bring it here. That had nothing to do with the presentation. Again, wasting time. Then you hear what he said about my boy performance. Did I record my boy performance? I didn't understand what he was talking about at first. Then it came to me he was talking about Andre. Again, as I stated yesterday, Charles Roberson is sick. He's even sick if he think he can tell me. I think I'm older than he is. No, I am. Tell me, Camillus Butch Nancy II, a grown ass 63-year-old man, where I can go and what I can do. I put my daddy to rest around September the 28th. My mom put her to rest in 1997. Charles Robinson, you are not either one of them. And nobody else is either. But I do listen to folk. But you are not there yet. I have nothing to listen to you about as far as when it comes to me on a personal note. Yeah, I got to listen to you in these meetings. But bruh, you're embarrassment. Trying like you're a savior. Everybody I talk to say you act like you're a savior. You can't save this right here without allowing, well, listening to those that do the day to day operation to make recommendations to bring back to you all. But I'm gonna end on this note. I reckon he wanna say he wanna allow me to speak. Now I ain't talking about doing the meetings. I ain't trying to talk interrupt their meetings. What I did had what I was saying over there standing in the corner had nothing to do with the meetings. I mean everybody in the room didn't even hear what I said. Um, but like Andre said, you don't allow him to speak. This brother got it. This boy got it bad. But anyway, y'all have a good evening. Be back as soon as possible to talk about the audit, the event center presentation, and again, y'all better stop tuning into the noise and make your opinions based on the facts. With those that at the table, like the auditors, LGC, the staff, city manager, and those around the table, councilmen that recognize and understand moving forward and not backwards. Again, have a good night. This has been the DCN Smoke. Oh, and one last thing. Again, seeing folk talking about I don't live in Rocky Mount. And what they got to do with anything. All right, y'all have a good night.